Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Boujee Best Friend Podcast. I'm dropping this episode on my birthday, April 17, which means this is my birthday episode. Yay, happy birthday to me. I recorded this pretty much a day before because I always wait for the very last minute to do something, and that's one of the things that I want to change now, walking into my 32nd year on this planet. So yes, I'm 32 years old. If you would ask me when I was 18, how is my life going to look when I'm going to be 32? I would probably tell you what every girl in her teenage years thinks, that her life by 30, it's going to, I mean, not every girl, but most girls, that by 30, you're going to be married, you're going to have kids, you're going to have a house, you're going to have a dog, you're going to have, all these imaginary dreams and stuff. And I have to say that right now, being 32, with my life being the way it is, I'm very happy, and it's been a long time that I can actually look around and say that I'm very happy. And that probably something that probably adds to my happiness is that my brother is here visiting me in Miami for my birthday. And I was just telling this morning to my boyfriend that I just feel at peace. I feel like, I don't know, when you live so far from your family, you always feel like something is missing. And when he is here, my brother, like, we're so close, my day is just so much better. It's very, I don't know, I just feel this very odd sense of peace and calmness. And yeah, so basically in today's episode, I am just going to share some things about me so you guys can get to know me a little bit better. I dropped a little question box last week for you to ask me questions about me, about whatever. There was a lot of relationship questions, about my relationship. So I think that's going to be a part of the episode where I will share some details about my man. I gotta say, I love birthdays. And when people tell me that they don't love birthdays, I just don't understand why. And it's not that you need to have like a huge party. It's not that you need to even, I don't know, you don't have to do anything for other people. But I love birthdays because it's a day where you can celebrate yourself. Just, have that entire day be all about you. Eat your favorite food, hang out with people you love, but people you truly love. That's something that I want to talk about here for a second. I think that growing up, we all have these pressures of what a birthday is supposed to be like, and that you're supposed to have all these amazing presents and all these amazing friends, that it all has to look amazing. And we're pressured pretty much from the internet and what we see that other people have for their birthdays. Like if somebody has friends sending them flowers, somebody has a surprise party, and then if that doesn't happen with you, you're going to be so disappointed. And that's something that I've been struggling with for a long time. Pretty much my entire life. I always felt like my friends don't do as much for me as they maybe do for some other people. Or I don't know, I always felt like my birthday is, I don't know, is that true or that's just my perspective? But I remember even in high school or something, we always had these group of friends and we would like collect money and then we would buy somebody a gift or something. And I always felt like when it was the time for me and for my birthday, nobody was like really putting that much effort. And I was like, it wasn't a nice feeling. So growing up, I started throwing these, I'm not going to call them lavish because they were absolutely not lavish, but these just loud parties. And even for my 30th birthday, that was a week of literally partying every single day. And obviously I was in a different stage of my life, and partying was fun for me and going out and meeting people, and I was single still back then. But I remember that 30th birthday, it looked amazing on Instagram, and it was, everybody thought that we were having the time of our lives, and we did have fun, don't get me wrong, but it was not even close to fun as it was on Instagram. And I remember even like being so frustrated with some of my friends that I will obviously not name right now because they might even be listening. But and we obviously had a conversation about it. And it was just like, I felt like it was more important for some people to be there and take pictures than to actually celebrate me. And, it was a 30th birthday. So I had these high expectations. And honestly, I gotta say that after 30th birthday, something just happened in me that I changed my life completely. I also started dating my boyfriend just around the same time. So I think that definitely has something to do with it. But something magical happens in you when you turn 30. People say it's the Saturn return. Astrologers say that. But I think there's something, I don't know, something just happens that you just don't give a fuck anymore. And it's such a freeing feeling that you can just be happy with who you are and that you don't need all this external validation, and you're not trying to impress people who literally don't care about you. That's the most fascinating thing, that I feel like in my 20s, I was spending so much time and energy trying to impress people who I don't even liked that much. I don't know. I just wanted them to think that I'm cool. And that never brings you joy because you don't even like them. And then I don't know, I don't want to get on a tangent here, but one of the questions, when I was going through the questions a little bit, somebody asked me, if you can give your 20-year-old self an advice, what would that advice be? And I would just say that you stop worrying so much about everybody else and to focus on yourself. And I feel like when I say that, just focus on yourself, it sounds so empty, but it's not, because when you start really focusing on yourself, I can't even explain how amazing and powerful that is when you are doing literally everything that you want to do. You're not doing things to make other people happy or to, I don't know, impress the internet or something. It's just so nice to do something just for you. And I think that for me is living authentically. I made this video that I'm going to post on my birthday, which is the same day that this episode is dropping. And it's something like, it's my birthday, and the only thing I wish this year is peace, growth, and authenticity, because that is truly, truly what I want for me, for my friends, for all of you guys listening. I just want you to feel peace. It's so nice to live in peace, honestly. It's so nice. Growth. I want to grow. I am a growth junkie. I just like to grow in any aspect of my life. I love learning new things. I love exploring new things. And I feel like if you're on this planet, you have to evolve and you have to grow, because that is what we're here for, aren't we? So yes, this year I want peace, growth, and authenticity. That's what I want. And I'm going to buy myself a really expensive piece of jewelry just to remind myself of this moment, because also in life, I always wanted other people to buy me things, and I wanted other people to do things for me, because then I would feel love. Not anymore. No. Now I am doing things for me to make myself happy. And yes, I have a loving boyfriend by my side, but I am not identifying my worth anymore, whether or not I have somebody by my side, because I was doing that a lot in my 20s. And it's interesting for me to see sometimes that I was really forcing certain situations and relationships because I was worried from all these societal norms and like, am I gonna be married by a certain age? And I always, even today when I speak to my mom, she always says she's joking, but I'm like, yo, this is really annoying. Don't say that anymore. When she tells me, oh, when I was your age, I already had 2 kids. And I'm like, I don't want to hear that, because that's not, and she means well, but I'll have kids whenever I will have kids, and I would love to have kids, but I don't want to hear those like, you should do this by a certain age. No, I'm on my own timeline. So that's what I wanted to say. Also, what I wanted to say that in April, I feel like I always celebrate the entire month. Not celebrate, but I do special things for myself. So recently I had a photo shoot with an amazing team, and I'm so excited for those photos. My friend Vera was helping with styling. Then I've shot with this amazing photographer, Olga. I had a photo shoot with her last year as well, also in April. And I hope we're going to have this like a little tradition now because I absolutely love her work. And then I got Julia from the Peachy group to come do my hair and makeup, and she was amazing. And for me, it's so hard sometimes to let somebody else do my hair and makeup because I used to do that and I'm very picky, but she did an amazing job. And I decided to do more photo shoots because I love photo shoots and I feel like I'm still a little awkward in front of the camera when it comes to taking photos of my full body because I don't take them as much. I don't know. I mean, I just selfie as I can do a selfie in my sleep, but I can't really do a full body photo for some reason. I don't know. I feel weird sometimes, but I want to change that. So I'm going to start doing more photo shoots. Okay, I think that's all I wanted to say. Actually, no, I still need to shout out the fact that my brother is in Miami. I don't know, like it's so special for me that he's here. And I just wanted to say that one more time. And yes, we're going to have an amazing staycation in the Miami Beach edition, which is my absolute favorite hotel in Miami. And I'm so, so grateful and excited. Okay, let's get into the questions. Why did you move to the US from the EU? Because in the EU, the quality of life, safety, politics, education, healthcare, diversity is better. Well, I obviously don't agree. I moved to the US because I always wanted to live here. I was always very into this mindset, even though I've never visited before until I moved here. I moved here when I was 22. Actually, this entire story of how I came to the US is my first episode. So you can head to my first episode. I'm going to link it in the show notes. But I always wanted to be here. And when somebody wants something, I mean, not everybody, but when somebody who really knows that they are in control of their life, they're going to find a way to make shit happen. So that's why I moved to the US, because I always wanted to do that. Okay, there's a question. What is the one thing you wish you knew at 20? Well, at 20 years old, I was still living in Croatia, and what I loved about myself when I was in my early 20s, I mean, even now, but I was so fearless and I was such a go-getter, and you could not stop me. You could not stop me at all. And I was a little naive, and I thought that everybody is my friend, and I thought that everybody wants to help me. And I was giving myself too much to many people, friends and guys, obviously, but it was, I mean, you know what people say, I wouldn't change anything because it makes you into who you are, but it's true. Because if so many people didn't fuck me over in my life, I would not learn certain things and I would not know how to behave when that happens again, but as an adult. Because honestly, I feel like when you're younger and if you're going through certain things, when people are not really treating you right, it's better for it to happen when you're younger, because later on, I don't know, I feel like today when somebody disappoints me, it's harder for me than if that happened a long time ago. I don't know if I'm making sense. I think to conclude this answer is to trust less. I know this is not really a great advice. I mean, I trusted everyone, and I was so naive, and I thought that everybody has my best interest in heart because I was 20 years old, but not everybody has your best interest in heart. So I just wanted to say that so you don't really, believe every single thing people say. Okay, next question. Funny stories or lessons learned from your past dating experiences. Well, this would have to be an entire podcast episode about that, but I feel like, okay, long story short, in Croatia, I didn't really have a serious boyfriend. I dated, I did. Actually, speaking about my first serious boyfriend, I got beaten up because of a guy, because I think I was 14. He was dating me and another girl, and those girls, he was dating one girl, but she had a group of friends, and they thought that I knew about that, and I don't know, I don't even remember exactly how it happened because I repressed it, but this guy, he was dating me and this other girl, and then her friends invited me to have a conversation, quote unquote, and I went again, stupid, naive. Actually, I'm not going to say I'm stupid. No negative self-talk. But I went and met up with them to have a conversation, and they just started attacking me and pushing me around, and I was mortified. And I was with my other friend, and we just started running. And okay, well, that is a really bad story. But the worst part is that I sent him a text that I just got beaten up by his other girlfriend's friends, and he didn't reply. But that's not the worst part. Then I think a year later I was dating him again because he was sorry. So funny. But all of those girls apologized to me later. I said apology not accepted, and I hope they're doing well right now. That's that. But I have a lot of funny stories. And okay, yeah, let me insert a little more. So I had that kind of boyfriend, but in Croatia, there was nobody that I was kind of crazy about. There was this one guy I was dating who was living in London. I was just a few months, but that was interesting. Then, yeah, I feel like I never really had a Croatian boyfriend for some reason. That was an actual relationship. I didn't have like your typical, oh, you meet somebody in high school, then you're with them. I don't know. I always had like weird relationships. And then when I moved to New York when I was 22, that was wild because I felt free, and I was dating around a lot, obviously, I'm not gonna lie. And then I got into a relationship with a guy who was one of the worst things that ever happened in my life. Not the worst, but he was horrible. He is irrelevant completely, but that was one relationship. Then I was dating around a lot again, and then I got into that was another long relationship, which fucked me up a little bit, but I got better. And I think then I had a single phase, and then in that single phase, that was the biggest learning curve. Not a learning curve, but I learned so much when I was in my single phase because I was a really broken person at that point. And I did so many things that I'm not ashamed of, but I just like, how did I stoop so low? Recently, by accident, I came across something and I saw myself so desperate and so, I don't know, like it's so pathetic. So when you guys ask me sometimes like, oh, were you always this strong? Yeah, the past, like, I don't know, a year and a half, too, but I had phases in my life where my confidence was on the ground. I was doing things that I was fighting for love. That's what I thought at the time, that I'm fighting for love, and that love is supposed to be so painful and hurt, and it's supposed to be so dramatic, and Disney fucked us all up. But yes, when I was growing up, I always kind of knew what I wanted. I used to always date older guys. Not anymore. My boyfriend is 2 years older than me. Okay, I think that question is answered. How did you and your boyfriend meet? I think that question was asked a lot of times. We met through a mutual friend. It was totally random. We were not planning on being in a relationship. We both just moved to Miami separately. He lived in New York before that, and I lived in New York before that. But we didn't know each other in New York. And he was just very normal. And that was very surprising for me because, as I said before him, I was just dating. I think it was also, when you sometimes date guys who nothing's going to happen out of that relationship, you're doing that because maybe you're just bored. But I didn't want a relationship. I wasn't looking for a relationship. And then when we met, again, I thought I wasn't looking for anything. And he thought the same exact thing. But it was just so normal, and it was so just comfortable. And I feel like I can give you the biggest advice when you know that you need to pursue something, is when you feel comfortable with that person, when you feel like you don't have to pretend, you don't have to be all dolled up and you don't have to think about everything you say. With him, everything was just smooth sailing. I don't know. I just felt very me. And that's why we fell in love, I guess. Okay, another question pretty much similar. How I build my confidence and manifested my partner. How I build confidence is by starting to actually do what I say I'm gonna do and respecting myself. And if I give myself a task and I don't do that task, I'm going to be disappointed in myself. And little by little, you're going to start losing respect for yourself. So I really try to do everything I say I'm going to do. So I'm making my little to-do lists and crossing them out when I do something nice. And I just want to feel like I'm holding myself accountable because I work for myself. Yes, I have my management and I have people with my podcast that are helping me, but it's at the end of the day, I'm my own boss. And if I disappoint my boss over and over again, my boss is going to fire me at some point. So I have to be nice to my boss, which is me. So I think that's how you build confidence, is by just keeping the promises you give to yourself. But it was not always like this. I was not always this confident, or I didn't know my worth at all. And that's why I have a tattoo that says know your worth. So I remind myself if I ever forget again. Tell us about your journey finding yourself and embracing who you are. That's a beautiful question. I will tell you that I was in my 20s. I was trying to figure out who I am, and I was very fearless, and I love that girl in her early 20s. But at the end of my 20s, I lost myself a little bit because I started thinking, I have to do this by this age, I have to do that, I have to do that. And I was trying to fit into these molds, which we spoke about a little bit earlier in the episode. But I lost myself. And then I wasn't happy at all. Like it really hurts me even to speak about this till this day. But it was not easy to... It's like I lost a part of my identity at some point, and then you just don't... I don't know, you look at yourself in the mirror and you're just not happy with what you see. And at the end of the day, you are responsible for yourself. So you need to do something to fix it. And that's what I did. And I saw that I'm not doing okay. And I asked for help. I started doing therapy, and it was the best thing I ever did in my life. I don't do it right now because I feel like I'm doing a lot of self-work every single day. But if I ever feel like I do need therapy, I would definitely do it like immediately. I love it. And yeah, I think that's an answer to this question. Top 5 most pivotal moments in your life that have made you who you are today. That is an excellent question. I will tell you, the first thing that came to my mind is that I got fired from my, what I thought at the time, dream job. That was a year before I moved to the US. And why this moment is so pivotal is that if I didn't get fired from that job, I would maybe still, I wouldn't definitely stay this long, but I would maybe not go to the US the year after because that happened. But I'm so happy I went to New York instead, and here we are. Number 2 would probably be meeting my current boyfriend, because after I met him, everything changed for the better. And we went through so many challenges together, and there was so much adjustment. And I just learned what a healthy relationship is. Number 3, moving to America. Number 4, I would say moving to Miami, because I just went for it and I felt so good here, and I wanted to listen to myself and my body, I guess. I don't know. I just really felt like I need to move here, and I did. And I got everything I had from New York and got my place here for 6 months. And then I knew that I can just come back if I don't like it. And number 5, I will say there wasn't like one moment, but maybe after I turned 30, it's just stop giving a fuck about things that are not relevant. This is an excellent question. I wish I gave it more thought, but what do you wish you could tell your younger self? That's again a similar question, but something that I would want my younger self to know is that I can make all of my dreams come true. If I work super hard and if I'm surrounded with people who want to see me win or who want to help me succeed. You don't have to have like everybody in your life an entrepreneur or something, but you need to have people who are doing what you want to be doing. And I'm trying so hard to surround myself with people who are positive and who are ambitious, because that's something I truly need in my life. And if my friends are bringing me down, or they are stagnant, or they are totally okay being mediocre, I don't want to sound like a bitch, but I know they're not benefiting my life in any way. And I don't mean benefiting, I just can't learn from them. I can't grow from them. And I can't, I don't know. Sometimes people tell me that I'm too harsh by cutting friendships out, but I feel like this life is so short. And if I feel like somebody's energy is not making me feel better about myself and my life, why would I keep them in my life? Just because of memories? And I'm gonna continue feeling like shit every single time we hang out, or I would question myself or something. What I hate if I'm hanging out with somebody and they make me doubt myself, or they make me feel like I'm not doing good enough, or I'm not, I don't know. There's a lot of people here in Miami especially who are trying to put you down, even like financially. They're just showing off and bragging the entire time. And I don't want to feel like that, you know, even though I'm pretty satisfied with my life. But if somebody is like rubbing things in your face, it's not a nice feeling. And I don't like that. Does your boyfriend ever feel intimidated by you or your personal success, fame? I love when people tell me that I'm famous. It's so interesting. He is absolutely not intimidated by my, you called it fame. He does not like the spotlight. He doesn't want to be in the spotlight. And he is very happy giving me all the spotlight I need. But I couldn't be with a guy who's intimidated by my success, because I want him to be motivated by my success, not intimidated. And I want us both to be very good at what we do. So we're both like go-getters, if that makes sense. More relationship questions. How do we overcome challenges we face? I think open communication is key. And I think that him and I communicate well. Sometimes we don't understand each other, but we don't go to bed upset. We don't leave the house if we are fighting. Not leave the house if obviously if I have a meeting and we just got into a fight, I'm going to go to my meeting, but it's not like I am storming out. We're like, okay, let's talk about this later or something. Just communicate. That is key. You need to communicate until you just understand what each other is talking about. Again, more about you and your boyfriend. How did you meet? What was different about him? I just felt comfortable and I felt safe and I felt like I can be who I am. When are you posting an everyday makeup tutorial? I feel like I just did. I guess I need to do it again. Your daily routine, a day on Coco's Life supplements. Okay, I'm trying to get this nailed down, but I'm not doing super well with all of my supplement schedule and stuff. But I try to do athletic greens every day, but I think I didn't do it like 3 times last week. I take Nutrafol. I take chlorophyll drops. I do array bloat capsules. Again, your past experiences that made you such a wise and a badass diva. I love that. How do you deal with conflict personally, romantically, professionally? Interesting enough, I don't like conflict amongst friends. I don't really get into fights. I don't get into discussions. I feel like if you're a friend with someone, it should be smooth and you should have, I don't know, an open communication. I don't know. I feel like I don't really fight with my friends. I fight with my boyfriend, but it's not like we fight about stupid things. Let me see. What was our last fight? Okay, our last fight was when we were in the supermarket and he was like, "What are you buying?" I was like, "I don't know, I'm just buying random groceries." And he wanted to make a list. That was the fight. And I was like, I don't want to make a list. If you want to make a list, you make your own list. I'll buy whatever I want to buy. And that was our fight. I don't know if that was a good example. I'll elaborate this. Like, he has his way of doing things and I have my way of doing things. And I don't need to always change my way of doing things to conform his way of doing things. I hope I used the word conform here properly. I'm not sure. Okay, friendship struggles and how you rose above. If I tell somebody that their behavior is not really cool with me and they don't understand me, I don't stick around. I don't know. Yeah, I don't fight with my friends. I feel like if I need to fight with them, they're not supposed to be in my life. I don't know. Did you always follow your bougie lifestyle, or did something happen that changed you? I always loved nice things, always. And I think that happened because from a young age, I started hanging out with people who, had some money. And I just saw the finer things in life when I was younger. And I always knew that I can make it happen for myself. So why wouldn't I do that? I do have to say that I'm not focused on brands as much as I was before. At some point in my life, I was unhappy with who I was internally and I was insecure. So I was wearing all these branded shoes and bags, and obviously I still like branded shoes and bags, but it was intense at some point because I was, again, unhappy with who I was internally. So I was trying to put all these designer items on me so I appear like I made it or something. But now when I'm healed, it's very funny and people can see through that so fast. What sunscreen do you use, especially for the eye area? Honestly, I use so many different sunscreens. Today I use the Zitstika sunscreen and I use Supergoop. But I use a lot of them and I should share more about sunscreen because I'm an avid supporter of sunscreen. Okay, more boyfriend questions, eyebrows question. Have you ever had them microbladed? No, I never had them microbladed. This is a fun question. Your deepest insecurities. First, when I saw this question, I was like, I'm not going to answer that. That's too personal, but I will answer this and this is going to be my final answer. My deepest insecurity is that I'm not good enough and that what I'm doing is not enough and that nobody cares and that I am just gonna live a mediocre life, and that is my biggest fear. And here I am sharing it so openly, but yes, that's my biggest fear, and that's why I'm always working so hard. And even right now I'm so tired and I would love to sleep, but I know that I need to record this episode right now because I want to drop it for my birthday, and that's why I'm doing it, because I am giving a promise to myself that I'm going to drop these episodes every Monday. So I'm doing that, and that's tying to what I said before, that's how you build confidence, by giving promises to yourself and actually following through. So on that note, I wanted to conclude this solo episode. I hope you enjoyed and learned something new about your bougie bestie. And if you did enjoy the episode, as you guys know, please leave that 5-star rating and review, because come on, because it helps the show grow. So if you listen through this entire episode, I think I can definitely ask you for this favor to subscribe to this podcast, because I need subscribers to have cool guests on the show. Okay, I'll tell you how this works. So let's say if I want to have a cool guest on my show and they're like, okay, let me see your analytics. Sometimes they ask that. And then if I send them analytics and you guys are not subscribed to the episodes, they're not going to come on the show. Click subscribe. So please do that and follow the show. And I'm dropping video episodes on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed this. And leave a rating on Apple. That's also really important. Please do that. I love you very much. And I'm so happy you're here, and happy birthday to me, I guess.